The number one measure of success for us at the end of each elk hunt is whether or not we will be bringing home a cooler full of elk meat. This season's trip was a success, and instead of dropping the meat off at a processor 1,100 miles away from home, we decided to complete the field to table process ourselves. Alright, so we just got back from Colorado yesterday. We've got a cooler full of elk meat and a fridge full of elk meat. And I ran by this morning to go pick up some pork fat. I've got an assortment of it here. Got some of it at the local food shop. I've got a total of 14 pounds, 9 of it being bacon. I'm going to trim that all up. And then some ground pork here, it's a couple pounds, and then a couple pounds of cured bacon ends. These are kind of hard to find. I did find that at the food shop, like the local Kroger didn't have it. So that might be a little more difficult to find, but basically you want to get a little bit of pork fat mixed in with that elk, and it gets you a little bit of fat content, and it will be around 14% or so roughly with the amount of elk meat that we have. We're going to have about 100 being ground up, and we're going to end up putting those in either these ground meat bags that I picked up at Cabela's, or we're going to vacuum seal them. We'll probably do a little bit of both just to test out different methods. But we're also going to cut up some steaks. We'll vacuum seal those, and we'll get going here. We've got everything we need. We're going to have 2 or 3 guys cutting up, and hopefully the process doesn't take too long. I'm thinking 4 to 5 hours if we get through it all today. We might just trim up the meat and then come back later on and grind it another time and stuff it the same day. But I'll leave links to all this stuff in the description so you can see where I've got everything and what all we've got. Alright, welcome back to day 2. Today we're going to be grinding up all the elk meat that we diced up last night. Between 4 of us, it probably took 4 to 5 hours. We went through and we cut them up in pretty much 2x2 chunks. That's real rough. We never even measured it or anything, just diced it down real nice. And we're going to be sending them through this Meat Your Maker grinder. I have a review video on this. I'll leave that link in the description. It's been a great grinder so far for whitetail. We're getting ready to test it out with the elk, see if it can handle it today. But I've got all my meat back in here. I've got some of it here in the canyon on ice just to keep it nice and cool. I've just got this out right now for demonstrative purposes. I'm gonna be putting it back in the fridge so that it stays nice and cool. But basically I just threw it on this scale that you stand on here and got a rough idea of how much weight I've got. It's not super accurate, but it's close enough for what we're doing. And then I've got some cured bacon ends. Got these at the local food shop. And then I got some Black Label bacon that I picked up at our Sam's Club. Got it in 3-pound batches, so that was pretty nice. And then I went ahead and weighed all the stuff that I've got. You can see here for the elk burger, 57 pounds. And then pork, I've got about 11 pounds. Divide that out. That leaves you with about 19% fat, somewhere in there. Now some of this bacon is not all fat, but a lot of it is. So we're looking at about 80-20 here, pretty close to it. So everything ought to be pretty good. When I'm grinding it, I'm just going to kind of eyeball it to get a rough estimation, and then I'll try to mix it by hand. But I've got a couple different containers here so that the grinder can keep up. This is, I don't exactly know the size of this one, but it's a little bit bigger, I think, than these 18-quart dish pans that I picked up at Dollar General. And these are just going to be some storage for me until I get all of it ground back up. And then I might either put it in bags, or if I've got enough time, I'll get to stuffing it tonight too. But we will see about that, because it's got a lot of meat to go through here and not a whole lot of time to do it. So stay tuned and we'll get right to it here. Another thing I should mention here is that I'm going to send it through the coarse blade first, and then I'm going to go ahead and do it through the fine blade. But I'm going to send all this through here. I'm not going to do any seasoning yet, just going to end up putting it in tubes and then splitting it up between 4 or 5 guys. So I'm going to leave the seasoning to the end user. Alright, so what I went ahead and decided to do was go ahead and pre-mix, basically, to get my 80-20 composition. I'm taking this bag of just elk meat, set it on here on the scale. It's roughly 13 pounds. So I do 13 pounds times 20%, and that leaves me around 2.6 pounds of pork. I've got a little postal scale behind me, so I basically just walk it over here. That's 2 pounds, 13 ounces. So I'm gonna dump most of this bag into this bag, and then it's gonna be pretty close to where I need it. That way I'm not guessing a little bit later on. I don't get some meat that's like 80% fat and then some that's hardly got any. So I just want to keep a pretty close ballpark estimation. Alright, so we finished up with all the grinding last night. It all looked pretty good after the fine grind. I've got it in the refrigerator right now, and I just pulled out the 5-pound stuffer from Meat Your Maker. I've been using this a couple years. It's done really well for me, and now I'm going to begin the process of stuffing some ground hamburger tubes here that I picked up at Cabela's. These all hold about 1 pound, so we will see how this goes. I've got some hog ring pliers that I've never used and some hog ring staples. Let's get right to it. Alright, so we got our ground up burger here out of the fridge. We're going to go ahead and start stuffing some of this. Put it down in the stuffer, pat it down pretty good, get all the air out as much as you can. And then we'll just do 5 pounds at a time. It's going to take quite a while, I've got a feeling, but it will be worth it in the long run. Alright, so it's been about 2 hours, 45 minutes or 3 hours, and I'm getting pretty tired of doing this. The hog ring pliers I feel like are really slowing me down. If I had something like one of those tape machines or something where you could stick it in there and get it done real quick, I'd be done in half the time. But what I'm going to start doing is grabbing some of my smaller vacuum seal bags that I've got from Cabela's, and then I'm just going to run them over the top of the stuffing tube here, and then go ahead and basically stuff the bag and then vacuum seal it just to speed the process up. Right now I'm just little wore out, ready to eat dinner. I'm sure you all know the feeling if you're doing this yourself. But I'll just go ahead and do some like this, and then I'll weigh it periodically. And this actually seems like it's going to work out really nicely. I'll put this on the scale over here that I've got 13 something ounces. So it looks like I'm about out here. That's all I'm going to get out of there, but I'll go ahead and clean the rest of this out, including the stuffing tube. That way I can go ahead and wash it. But I'll take this out of here. That'll give me about a pound. Throw it on the vacuum sealer, and then this is all I've got left. So we pretty much, this has completed that video. We've got it all done now. Yeah, that was pretty much the process that we went through. We made all this burger, we cut some steaks up, we some pieces of tenderloin up. We've pretty much done it all here from start to finish. So if you guys have any questions, maybe I can help you out in the comments below. You can reach out to us on Instagram, Facebook, pretty much any way you like. If you have any suggestions, go ahead and leave those too. We're always open to them. We love to learn. It's kind of the reason we do this. It's not so much to teach all the time, it's just to hear new ways to do things and try to stay with an edge, doing things the smart way, doing things the quicker way. And I'm sure you all have some secrets for us, so if you would, drop them in the comments below. Go check out some more of our videos. We've got a lot of videos on the grinder, the stuffer, different things as far as like whitetail processing. This is our first elk processing video, so yeah, if you would, like it, share it, and good luck to you in all your adventures.